Hi, good evening, everyone. So excited to be on with y'all tonight. We are here to talk about the American Jobs Plan. And so a little bit about, oops, skipping ahead here. That excitement got a little bit ahead of myself. But first, want to take a moment to introduce ourselves before we get into talking about the American Jobs Plan. So my name is Bernice. I am the regional director with For Future Florida in Hillsborough area. So that's Hillsborough and Pasco counties. And sometimes I hang out in Pinellas and Manatee counties too. And I am really grateful because we have an amazing guest on with us tonight, who's Nick from Common Ground. Nick, do you want to introduce yourself and maybe share a little bit about Common Ground?
Sure. Thanks, Bernice. I'm really excited to be here. Thanks for inviting us. Hi, everyone. My name is Nick. I am the State Program Director at the Common Ground Project. And our organization, as the name might imply, is really focused just on building common ground amongst working Floridians. So, we're all struggling with the pandemic, unemployment, struggling, in ways I can't, even list all of them, and millions of different things that working Floridians are dealing with right now. And one thing that we know is that, when working people come together, people of color, white people, Muslims, Christians, gay people, when we all come together, we can achieve a lot. So the goal of the Common Ground Project is really just to help, wherever we can, fight for common sense legislation that will make all of our lives better.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
And yeah, I can kick us off. Oh, go ahead, Nick.
No, you're good.
Okay, I was going to say I can kick us off on this first slide, which is how the American Jobs Plan will benefit Floridians. So a little bit about American Jobs Plan. It is a really, really bold proposal to reinvigorate our economy through repairing and upgrading our infrastructure across the country. But particularly, we're going to focus on Florida tonight.
And a great place to start with our infrastructure is talking about our roads and bridges. And I think everyone that lives in Florida is very familiar with roads and bridges. And a lot of us use them to, to transport ourselves over the water, to get from Pinellas to Tampa, is where, I drive a lot over the bridge, or Sarasota, or wherever you are in Florida. You're probably not far from a bridge. And an unfortunate fact, though, is that in Florida, there's 408 bridges and over 3,564 miles of highway that are in poor condition. In Florida is a really long state. We have a ton of roads, and it's pretty incredible to think that, our tourism, all of our schools, all of that is fed off of our roads. We have to have the transportation. So to see that many of them in poor repair is sad, but it's also a really great opportunity for us to create some jobs and to fix those roadways and to make all of our lives better. And since another great interesting fact is that since 2011, commute times have increased by 11.6% in Florida. I'm sure we can all relate to it taking us longer to get to work or to the grocery store than it used to. And when you're, sometimes working multiple jobs, or you're busy life, you got your kids that you got to take to and from school, that commute time takes away time from your family and from other important things that help you feel good. So and not only that, but it's also poor roads are costing drivers an average of $425 per year. That's additional repairs that are needed because our roads have been not kept in prime condition. So again, the American Jobs Plan is a really awesome opportunity for us to to fix our roads, our bridges, to reduce commute times, to reduce unnecessary repairs that we have to have on our vehicles, and to make our infrastructure more resilient so people can get where they need to go in a timely and safe manner. Another great topic for infrastructure is public transportation. As a younger person myself, I think all the time about global climate change and the sorts of stresses that we're putting on our planet. And wherever possible, I really do enjoy taking public transportation to get where I need to go. And as someone who used to live in DC, really loved the metro. It was incredible to be able to go anywhere I needed in the city without a car. And here in Florida, we don't have the best public transportation. We definitely can see some really large improvements to our system. Floridians have to take public transportation spend an average an extra 77.9% of time commuting, and the non-white households are 3.5 times more likely to commute via public transportation. So this is disproportionately affecting people of color, immigrants, and working or Floridians who are struggling. For poor, lower income areas as well, are relying on a failing public infrastructure transportation system. So this is an excellent opportunity to help make transportation more equitable, so that people at all different walks of life can get where they need to go in a timely manner. And it's also a great way for us to help protect the planet. If more of us can take public transportation, it's great because we don't always need one car per person to get folks where they need to go. I think too, as we start to see more and more people in this planet, and as our area, I know in Florida, we've seen a lot of growth. We just got another congressional seat awarded through the census, so we know that Florida's growing. We're going to need more efficient ways to get people to and from where they need to go. So public transportation is going to be really, really key in taking, progressing as a country and as a state. We also know that that there are some really important steps we need to take to modernize our transportation. So this will really be this investment is going to be really great for our communities. And then again, as I think everyone in Florida is particularly aware of, there's been a rise in extreme weather events, and these take a toll on our infrastructure, including our roads, our bridges, and our public transportation. From 2010 to 2020, Florida experienced 22 extreme weather events. So that's, to put that in context, that's over 2 events a year. And those extreme weather events have cost our state up to $100 billion in damage just in that 10-year period. We know that these extreme weather events are going to continue to happen, and that's why investing money, extra money into our public transportation, our roads, our highways, our bridges, and other infrastructure is extremely important. And I'm glad that our president recognizes that, and not only wants to improve the existing systems, but also wants to repair ones that have been damaged, and wants to make sure that we're also putting aside funds to, for when the disaster does strike, to be able to respond in a great manner. And with that, I think I'm going to kick it over to Bernice, who's going to talk about drinking water.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nick. So drinking water is so important. And over the next 20 years, our drinking water infrastructure is going to require $21.9 billion in additional funding. So the American Jobs Plan is one that ensures that we all have clean, safe drinking water in all communities. One great thing that it will do is actually replace all the lead pipes across the country, so that there won't be any more lead piping and lead in our drinking water. Next, want to talk about housing. So housing is super, super important, where we live, where we lay our head at night, especially for young families. I don't know about y'all, but I've noticed every year the rent just keeps getting higher and higher. And so in part, there's a lack of available and affordable housing. And we have almost 1.5 million renters in Florida who are rent burdened. meaning that they spend more than 30% of their income on rent. So the American Jobs Plan is going to address this issue by actually increasing the housing supply and addressing the affordable housing crisis. So we actually have housing for folks who will not be spending such a huge amount of their income on housing alone, when we have families who also need to pay for food provide for their children, just different things that money could be going towards if they weren't so rent burdened. Clean energy jobs. Now, this is one that really excites me. As of 2019, there were actually 166,000 Floridians working in clean energy, and the American Jobs Plan wants to increase that number. It wants to create good paying union jobs to actually advance clean energy production by expanding tax credits for clean energy generation, carbon capture, sequestration, and clean energy manufacturing. So next step is, all of this sounds incredibly great. Love clean drinking water, love transportation, love clean energy. The next step is to actually take action and go ahead and tell our senators, Senator Rubio and Scott, to support the to support the American Jobs Plan. You guys can tell that I'm really passionate about clean energy. So if you're interested in signing the petition, you can go ahead and take your phone and take a picture, or use your camera to take a picture of this QR code, and it will actually take you to the link to sign the petition. And once you sign the petition, we'll be able to tell Scott and Rubio, hey, we really need these things that are in the American Jobs Plan, that this is an investment, a down payment on our children's future, and we desperately need that. So please take just one moment. I'll leave this up here for a second for y'all to actually go ahead and hit that QR code. And I believe there will also be a link as well for folks who would like to, oops, there we go. There's a link that just got dropped in the comments. So if y'all would like to do the link instead of the QR code, if that's too confusing, which I totally get. I just learned how to use them this year. Thank you, COVID. So if you'd like to use the link, go ahead and click the comments and use that link there. Awesome. And lastly, we want to stay engaged with you all. We believe definitely that building people power is the best way to advance progressive policies. So if you'd like to stay connected with us at For a Future, definitely join our Facebook groups. It's a great way to see what we're up to and stay connected. You can find one in your area by going to forflorida.us/Facebook groups, and it will bring you to each of our groups. And we have multiple groups going on for different areas of the state. And Nick, do you want to talk about how folks can stay connected with Common Ground?
Yeah, of course. So just as Bernice said, we'd love to stay in touch. If you go to facebook.com/commongroundfla, you can like our page, and that's an excellent way to stay in the loop when we host other events, or when we have other opportunities to learn or hold our elected officials accountable. We'd love to share them there. So definitely encourage you to follow both of our pages, and look forward to continuing to work together in a broad coalition of organizations that are all trying to help support Floridians, voters, to take control of their government and to see progress.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Nick. I can't thank you enough for joining us tonight and lending your voice to the American Jobs Plan. It is always a joy to partner with Common Ground, and really appreciate all the folks for joining us on Facebook tonight. I hope this explained a little bit about what the American Jobs Plan is and got folks excited about it. And we're going to continue to uplift this legislation because it's such a great opportunity for our country. So thanks so much, everyone, and hope that y'all have a wonderful night. Bye, everyone.